to News at Night for Tuesday, February the 9th. I'm Colette Linden.
I'm Craig Huckerby. We still have a couple of cold nights ahead, but some sunny skies too. I'll give you all those details coming up.
During last night's meeting, CHAAT, a local advocacy group, came to council with a presentation. Councillor Hollingsworth had nothing but support for the organization's goals and offered anything she could do to help.
I strongly feel as you continue to voice your concerns and your team and others in this community, I am confident that we will achieve this goal. The last comment is, Dr. Hergott, if there's anything I can do, please let me know. I've been in contact with the hospital, with Lisa Case and her team, who are doing a very good job as well. And I'm here, so please, if we can have an offline conversation, I'd appreciate that, Dr. Hergott. Thank you again for coming tonight, and thank you to your team.
Council as a whole was eager to help and support CHAAT in achieving their many goals for the community. The Ontario government is providing $7 million to help increase access to mental health and addiction services for post-secondary students during COVID-19. The funding will provide more support for students, both on campus and virtually, and can also be used to address the needs of vulnerable and diverse groups, such as Indigenous students, LGBTQ students, and students with disabilities. Today's announcement is part of the Ministry of Health's more than $147 million in funding for mental health supports and builds upon the province's $19.25 million investment for publicly assisted colleges and universities announced in October. The funding will help to immediately expand access for post-secondary students to the provincial mental health and addiction system in response to COVID-19. With restrictions set to be lifted in the next week and cabin fever at an all-time rise, white sand and turquoise water might sound appealing, but transportation will be a challenge. In a report released this morning, Terry Boast, President and CEO of the SSMADC, stated that Bearskin Airlines is operating up to 2 flights Sunday and up to 4 daily flights Monday to Friday. He further went on to Air Canada Express is offering up to 1 daily flight. This continues to be a major decrease in flight options compared to February of 2020, when Air Canada was flying 4 daily flights. Porter had up to 2 dailies, and Bearskin was flying up to 7. Sunwing was providing once weekly service. Please go to Sue Online for the full story of Up and Stay. The future for Pointe-des-Chênes is unclear after council decision last night.
To cease the operations there at the campground. What's the plan for the property?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Shoemaker, we would certainly secure the site in the immediate future, and at this point in time we would have no definite plans. Anything further obviously would be taken back to council for your decision.
The property was given to the city years ago from the federal government, and there are multiple things that could happen to it going forward. Stay with SueOnline.com for any further information on this decision. Beginning Wednesday, February the 10th, Albert Street between Andrew and Gore will be reduced to 1 lane with a new always stop at the Gore Street and Albert Street intersection. City staff will temporarily close the curb lane on the north side with concrete barricades. There will be space left between the barricades for residents to safely enter and exit out of driveways. Public Works will also ensure the maintenance of snow removal during the winter months. This new stop sign and lane reduction will address ongoing traffic safety at the Gore and Albert Street intersection. Full construction to realign Albert Street will take place in the summer of 2021. Motorists and pedestrians are urged to take caution and obey all signage in the area during this time. The City of Sault Ste. Marie would like to thank you for your cooperation. The Algoma Public Health is reporting 2 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 today, one from Elliott Lake and area and one from Central and East Algoma. Both cases tested positive last week, no known knowledge of exposure. The Algoma region now has 30 active cases.
Hi again, everyone. Well, we have another cold night tonight and another couple of cold days actually, and we even have some flurries working out into our forecast for tomorrow, and we'll touch on your weekend. That's all coming up.
Together, we can reduce the spread of COVID-19. Went grocery shopping? Fill the car with gas? Picked up a prescription? Wash your hands often to help reduce the spread of germs. It can save lives. A message from the Government of Canada.
by one of our 3 Sault Ste. Marie locations. You do life, we do taxes.
Hi again, everyone. Well, we finally made it up to our daytime high of a minus 11 today. It's only going to last about an hour, and then we're going to see our temperatures dip again. This is the watches and warnings. We still have a snow squall warning and a snow squall watch up to the north, so that's going to close the keep the highway closed at least, and still they're going to pick up a lot of snow still over the next 12 hours. All this is extreme cold. We'll take a look talking about extreme cold. Minus 21 is our temperature tonight. It could go even further than that, add in the wind chill, and it's going to feel like minus 31 when you wake up tomorrow morning. Clear skies though, we don't see any snow yet. Around the Horn, we're still looking very cold. Minus 33 in Thunder Bay, minus 24 in Timmins, minus 27 in Wawa, and they're still under that snow squall watch up there as well. So winter is definitely here. It took long enough. This is the North American satellite shot, and again, you can clearly see where the cold air is. That's this milky white sky here. That's very frigid air. That's going to stay in place. It's not moving anywhere for the next 7 days, so it's winter for sure. Let's take a look now at the system. This is really the only system that we're watching right now. We do have a system coming in tomorrow. It's just a weak low disturbance. It may give us some flurries, but this is a system that we are watching where we could pick up 5 to 10 centimeters from this low pressure system coming in Sunday. We will watch that again. We could see some winds with that, and again we could see more lake effect up to the north from this system, so definitely keeping an eye on that. We will take a look at your 3 days looking like this. Sun and cloud for most of the rest of the week. Temperatures though, minus 10, minus 12 for Thursday, minus 14. We get colder as we progress throughout the week. Overnight lows as well getting quite cold. We look at the 7 day, really nothing really great to tell you other than temperatures are holding steady in the mid minus teens. And when we say minus 21, we could actually hit minus 30 depending if there's any cloud cover during the night. So just like last night, we fell down last night to minus 29 because we had clear skies. So if it's clear, we're going to get colder than forecast. That is your weather right now. Jacob and Colette are standing by with all your sports right after this.
Loss is something that never leaves you. Donate $45 today to help victims of impaired driving. A message from MAD Canada.
Welcome to 705 Sports. Yay, the first time we've got to say it.
We finally have a name.
Boom. Today we're going to talk a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes or behind the benches, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, good old Tortorelli's got losing his mind again.
He's back. He's back at it again. He benched Patrik Laine for the entire third period. Yeah. Mind you, they did win.
Yeah.
But Tortorella said it wasn't because of his missed assignments. It wasn't because of missed back checks. It was multiple things, but that's staying in the locker room.
Ooh.
Interesting thing enough, though, one of the players from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Cam Atkinson, actually defended Torts, saying that he feels that the players aren't giving 100%, they should be punished.
There you go. Doesn't matter what type of player you are and how many zeros follow your first number.
Oh, I'm iffy on this one because I understand what Torts is trying to do.
Yeah.
He's trying to make sure that the players are like actually playing to their 100% ability. But at the same time, let's say they lose that game, and you have your best goal scorer sitting on the bench twiddling his thumbs.
Well, I guess he was willing to make the point.
I don't know if it's worth making a point like that in a 56-game season.
Yeah, boy, would you argue with that guy? I wouldn't.
I think this is why almost every star wants out.
He is an angry-looking guy, just like Brian Burke we were talking about. Very angry. Yeah, it was a weird decision, but, you know.
Not one I would have made personally. I maybe would have sat him a couple shifts.
The entire period.
Not an entire period in a one-goal game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, let's talk about another game where Austin Matthews was once again
he's just
another point.
Lighting it up.
He is so amazing. What's your take on last night?
He got the game-winning goal for a 3-1 victory for the Leafs. as a Leaf fan, we were lucky we won this one.
Yeah.
First 2 periods, we were really outplayed. We only had 7 shots in the first 2 periods.
And lately they've been firing the shots on net.
But then the team turned it around, ended up scoring 2 goals, in the third, including the Matthews game winner and then Kerfoot on a nice give and go to win the game 3-2. I don't know what's up with Vancouver. They looked so good. The first 40 minutes. Like, I mean, they were forechecking, they were hitting. Toronto's defense couldn't get a good breakout going. But it was almost like because they couldn't pull ahead, they just kind of gave up.
Okay.
It was weird to see.
I think maybe they should go back to their black and gold jerseys. Maybe these new ones aren't working for them, eh?
I don't know what they need to do, but Travis Green's got to pull that team together.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't, I'm not saying the whole thing's his fault. They did trade away a lot of star players and a lot of star power, including Tyler Toffoli, who is now in the tops with Matthews for most goals in the NHL this season. But Green needs to get this team together. The way they played that last period, it looked like the other games again. They looked lost. They weren't forechecking, and the Leafs were able to just dominate. Yeah. And I'm not saying if you're a Leaf fan, you should be happy with that win. I was angry with the Leafs last night. For the first 40 minutes, they looked like the Leafs from last season.
And as a Leaf fan, it's always been very frustrating watching the Leafs too. But lately, it's been a little bit better. But yeah, it is frustrating.
But I mean, the third period, they looked great. But for Vancouver, like, what are you doing?
I don't know. And to say that the Leafs look good in the third period is not something as a Leaf fan we've ever really had to say in years before. It's always the third period is where they collapse.
It's usually where they collapse. And Anderson did really hold them in this game, making 31 saves. Mind you, the Leafs did do a good job of keeping shots to the outside. But I don't know what to say if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, except maybe Green needs to...
Except for maybe be a Leaf fan now? What about the Oilers and that other team? You know that other team.
Listen, you know what? I'm going to be an unbiased sports analyst here.
I don't like it.
Oilers versus the Sens was a much closer game than I think anyone was expecting. The Oilers did win 3-1. One of them was an empty netter. McDavid and Draisaitl again combining for 3 points for the win.
That's good.
But what I like to see from Edmonton, they showed effort. They had 2 fights. They were hitting. They were flying all over the place. Dave Tippett said he was really angry that his players did feel engaged, including Zach Kassian. And Zach Kassian, he was one of the fights in that game. But for the Sens, I don't think you should be too upset with them that game. Mike Smith played really well.
He's a good player.
It was for his first game back in the season for Edmonton, and Ottawa got a lot of good chances on him. I think Ottawa fans, you still need to just trust in the process. They have a lot of good young players. Matt Murray played a strong game, which is one thing that I like to see from Matt Murray because he's been kind of shaky, but it's been good his last 4 starts. So if you're a Senators fan, don't think about playoffs. Just think about this is a rebuilding season, and the team is looking better. And this is coming from a Leaf fan.
And I thought you were my friend too, but apparently not. Anyway, just kidding. What's going on with the CFL and our Edmonton Eskimos are no longer?
I am so excited to talk about CFL
Yes, I know
again.
you are. I know you are. And I know you're excited to talk
CFL.
about these names that they've got on their list of possibilities.
So currently the Edmonton football team, which thankfully they're not going to pull a Washington football team move and just not rename the team at all. They're looking at 7 new names, which they want the fans' input on. So we got the Elks, the Evergreens, Evergold, Eclipse, Elkhounds, Eagles, and
That's hilarious.
The Elements.
Yeah, that is hilarious. And it's kind of like the Mighty Ducks. Remember when I first came out, you're like, are you kidding me? You're naming your team the Mighty Ducks after
when I picture the Elements, I'm picturing like a 10th grade science teacher wearing like a jersey and being like, we're going to learn about elements.
Which nobody wanted to learn about. And everybody's like, oh, not elements. I would not go with elements.
I think...
What would you choose? Evergreens? No. Eclipse is terrible. Eagles.
I would choose, I was thinking the Elks.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I've already seen some concept jerseys.
Oh, okay.
And the concept jerseys look really good.
The logo matters. Branding always matters. Okay, let's switch this conversation around to the court. Let's go to Toronto, to We the North.
Love to see this from the Raptors pulling a big 128-113 win over the Grizzlies.
That was awesome.
Now, something I don't like to see from the Raptors. Kyle Lowry had to leave in the first quarter with back spasms. Let's hope he's okay. Fingers crossed, because I mean he is the leader of this ship for this team.
Yeah, for sure.
But the rest of the players really stepped up to the plate, or I guess to the court, or to the key.
To the court. To the key, yes.
This ain't baseball. Spicy P with 32 points.
Yeah.
Fred Van Vliet, 32 points.
He's great.
Norman Powell, 29 points. Then Chris Boucher with a double-double. I like to see that from the Raptors. When they saw their captain was down, the rest of the team really did step up. And they might have to, because Lowry has been in a lot of trade rumors lately.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let's talk about that for a second. What did you just send me before here? A little for sale sign on Lowry's house?
Apparently, Kyle Lowry's house is for sale at a nice cold $5.3 million.
Is that all chump change?
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy 2 of them.
Me too. Well, I guess I should get back to the news. Thank you for joining us on 705 Sports. Do you have anything else to add, Jacob, with your expertise, and let everybody know what's going on tonight, maybe?
Just one more thing I wanted to add as someone from a sports fan. I'm sure anyone who's a sports fan knows Sports Center with Jay and Dan.
Yes.
Dan O'Toole was unfortunately laid off by Bell Media last week.
It's crushing.
And it's very upsetting coming from someone who has grown up watching them my entire career, my entire life, not career, but even they were a reason why I wanted to get into this career. So right before we end, I just want to go to a small part of the clip where Jay ONRAIT talks about his friendship and everything that him and his entire crew have done together to really change sports broadcasting into more than just sports broadcasting.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad we're sharing that, and right after that clip, we'll get back to your news.
We were talking about how when young people see us now, they tell us they grew up with us, which makes us feel old, but also so grateful, because when we started on this network together almost 2 decades ago, we had one priority: to be ourselves on television. And it only worked because you guys watched us. Because let's face it, our show was pretty weird. But you made us a part of your routine with your families all across this country, in the morning and at night. And Dan and I will always appreciate that. So on behalf of Dan and Tim and myself and everybody on this amazing crew, thank you.
The Canadian Council of the Blind has been improving the lives of those with vision loss for over 70 years. With more than 65 chapters across Canada, it is the largest membership-based organization of the blind. People of all ages dealing with vision loss can join and participate in sports and recreation activities, technology training and assistance, peer support groups, and advocacy programs. For more information, visit ccbnational.net or call 1-877-304-0968.
The Ontario government announced on Monday that teams competing in the NHL's All-Canadian North Division will be permitted to dine inside certain Ontario restaurants despite ongoing stay-at-home orders within the province. When asked why it is considered safe for NHL personnel to dine indoors but not the public, Premier Doug Ford yielded to the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. David Williams, who pointed to the league's strict COVID-19 testing policy, stating that the rules of the NHL are strict with protocols, frequent testing, isolation of their players to the extent, and very tight transport within Canada. Prior to the Ontario government's decision, traveling players and coaches in Canada were only permitted at the hotel, arena, or airport during the division-only season. The league will submit a plan for approval to the Office of the Chief Medical Officer of Health that will specify a full list of Ontario businesses and places that will be used by the NHL. On February the 6th, shortly after 9:30 p.m., East Algoma OPP responded to a report of a vehicle in the ditch on Highway 17 between Bar Road and McLennan Road in Tarbut Additional Township. When police arrived on scene, a vehicle was in the center median stuck in the ditch. During the investigation, it was determined that the driver had consumed alcohol. He was arrested and transported to Thessalon Detachment for further testing. As a result of the investigation, the driver, David Calder, 31 years of age, from Blind River, was charged. The accused was released on an undertaking and is scheduled to appear before the judge in Blind River on March the 4th. The accused was also issued a 90-day administrative driver's license suspension, and the vehicle was impounded for 7 days. A Toronto area drunk driver who killed 3 children and their grandfather is set to appear before the Parole Board of Canada via video conference today. Marco Muzzo was granted the day parole last April, nearly 5 years after the crash that sparked national grief. The board noted that at that time that Muzzo appeared to have become more self-aware and was unlikely to reoffend, but the panel denied him full parole, finding that elements of his plan for self-management were relatively simplistic and relied too much on his circumstances. Muzzo was sentenced to 10 years behind bars after pleading guilty in 2016 to 4 counts of impaired driving causing death and 2 of impaired driving causing bodily harm. 9-year-old Daniel Neville Lake, his 5-year-old brother Harrison, their 2-year-old sister Millie, and the children's 65-year-old grandfather Gary Neville were killed in the September 2015 crash. The children's grandmother and great-grandmother were also seriously injured in the collision in Vaughan. Their mother, Jennifer Neville Lake, is expected to present a victim impact statement at today's hearing, who has already spoke out, saying that no matter the outcome, nothing changes anything for her, as she said in a Facebook post last week. The Sault Ste. Marie Chamber of Commerce has resolved a glitch in the online applications for various COVID-19 related Ontario programs and subsidies that may have affected the applications for certain Sault Ste. Marie businesses. The Chamber was advised that applications were being automatically disqualified if a period was not included at the end of Saint in Sault Ste. Marie when identifying the region of the application. It appears that the omission of the period was resulting in the region not being recognized by the online system and automatically returning a disqualified response for the funding or the subsidy being applied for. The Sault Ste. Marie Chamber of Commerce contacted the MPP's office and the issue has been resolved. If any members who applied were disqualified for any programs, the Chamber has asked you to reapply. Well, it's no secret I don't wear hoodies to work every day, but I had to today. It was so cold. How long am I going to have a hoodie on?
I'm going to say probably till next Wednesday, where we start seeing some half decent temperatures again. And here's the thing, like last night I went out for a walk. And I'm always saying wear a hat, right? So you go out and it feels warm when you first get out. 5 minutes into your walk, you're saying, thank God I have my tube.
Absolutely.
So that's how it is.
Okay, well I guess this hoodie's on for another week. Thank you for joining us for News at Night. Have a great evening.